Well, there's actually quite a gap between Google and Prisma, and that's partly because, honestly, after doing Wildfire, which was incredibly intense, and then 3 years at Google, my husband and I felt like we deserved a little time off. So, we left Google with the intention of giving ourselves a little bit of a break. But we also had a really strong intention, which is whatever we do with this next chapter of our careers, let's make sure it's something where we're having a large positive impact on the world. I think Wildfire was just an incredibly fulfilling experience from the standpoint of it's amazing to grow something from just the kernel of an idea to a team of 400 people serving tens of thousands of customers, and so that was stimulating. But when it all boiled down to it, were we doing something super meaningful for the world? Not necessarily. And so for us, when we left Google, the goal was, let's do something really meaningful for the world. But frankly, that once you set yourself that goal, it can be a little paralyzing because there's just endless problems that need solving in the world, and there's so many ways you could have an impact in the world. And so I think we spun our wheels for a little while, just thinking, where should we focus? What problems should we solve? And then, as I think often happens for entrepreneurs, our own need arose, and that's the inspiration we got. And that need was that we have 3 children. The oldest is now 7, but at the time that our oldest was starting to approach school age, we really started to question how we wanted to educate her and our other children, which led us on this real deep exploration of education, like starting with what kind of innovative schools are in our area and expanding to what kind of innovative schools are there around the world and what innovative schooling models are there, like microschooling. And eventually we looked into homeschooling. And I think we started to sort of really develop a view of what we felt like a really amazing model of education would be for our kids and our family, and it was quite a lot of inspiration from homeschooling, I'd say. The idea of kids being able to move at their own pace, learn based on what interests them, be able to really tie their learning to sort of tangible, hands-on, real-world learning. The ability, homeschool kids are just super efficient in their learning. They don't sort of need to fill 6 hours a day because that's the length of a school day. They're able to get through their core learning, usually in 90 minutes or 2 hours. And then there's a whole bunch of time for exploring the stuff that you're really interested in. And so the idea of families having flexibility, kids having flexibility around their schedules. Some kids are great at starting early in the morning. Some kids are better at starting later in the morning. Increasingly, I think families would love to have more geographic flexibility as work gets more flexible. School, there's nothing less flexible than school, I think, from a schedule and sort of geography standpoint. So we created this vision for our own kids and our own family. But I think we quickly got inspired by the idea of, could we create an approach to education that would enable many, many kids and many, many families to benefit from sort of this model of education that we were getting really excited about, which is, a model of education that provides a ton of flexibility to really tailor to the interests and needs and level and speed of the child, while also being flexible for the family, while also, and this was a really strong goal for us as a family, but is a very strong goal for Prisma, preparing kids who have the skills and mindsets to be able to succeed in whatever the future world is going to look like for this current sort of generation of kids. Because one thing's for sure, I think the world is going to look very, very different, and the job landscape is, for a variety of reasons, particularly as a result of AI, I think there's just, we really don't even know what jobs are going to exist. So how do you prepare kids for a world like that? And that was a really strong driving force for us personally, and has become a driving force for Prisma. So yeah, to cut a long story short, Prisma arose from our own need, and we felt like that was a need that many families could have.